Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here as always. I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I'm going to keep this short tonight. I am, I'm in shock, man. I'm in shock that things I did not contemplate a year ago when we lost the Green Bay Packers would be that the Dallas Cowboys, sitting here in the middle of January, would be watching the Washington Commanders in the NFC Championship game with a chance to play the Philadelphia Eagles if the Eagles win against the Rams tomorrow. I did not have them going to Detroit and out Detroiting Detroit. You understand what I'm saying? Dan Quinn showed you. The craziest thing here is I always liked Dan Quinn. Our defense failed. Now, you could still say Dan Quinn's defense gives up a lot of runs. But the thing that Dan Quinn's defense does, they take away the football. They take away the football 5 times. He literally had a defense with smoke and mirrors that led the league in takeaways 2 years in a row, something I don't think has actually happened before. The problem with Dan Quinn was, and the problem with Mike McCarthy, let's put it on the table. You know, I get sick and tired of people that come in and say, well, Dak can't do that. You're right. Dak can't do that. Because you look at the Lions with their running game that literally had almost 200 yards running. That kind of helps. That kind of helps out a lot. And even with that, that wasn't enough because their defense could not stop the Commanders. Could not stop the Commanders. They gave up, 41 points? You can't stop them. You're not going to win. And see, we are the redheaded stepchild. No disrespect to redheaded stepchildren, but we're the redheaded stepchild because the Joneses create holes. They always find reasons why we can't do something, and instead of going out and getting what they need with capable players, the Cowboys always go for leftovers. They don't ever get anything fresh. You understand where I'm going here? Think about this. The Cowboys said Dorrance Armstrong, who had a key sack today, Dante Fowler, who had 10 sacks on the season, I believe it was, at least last count it was, that we don't need those guys. We said, Hankins, defensive tackle, don't need him. Yadish, don't need him. Tyron Smith, don't need him. Cornerback, what's his name? Jeez. Former Patriot. You know what I'm talking about. Don't need him. Don't need him. We let those guys go. And see, I said to a Commander fan, I said, what if, or I said it to Momo, I said, so what if, after this season that was 12 wins, that they turned out, they let go of Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, they let go your best running back, and they brought back Alfred Morris. Literally. You let go of your best running back, you brought back Alfred Morris. And I went down and I said, what if you did all of these things, and your only response was, we're going to plug the holes with people we draft? And he's like, I'd be pissed. I said, would you expect to be a 12-win team? He's like, no, not even close. It's like, you can't take that many hits. It's like, literally, that's what the Cowboys do. And we go through and we look at Dan Quinn, who was forced to have a 206-pound safety play linebacker for us. And instead of saying, there's a problem here that you don't have the right kind of personnel, to look and say, The Cowboys haven't had a dominant defensive line since maybe 2006, back when we had Jay Ratcliffe. That when the Cowboys go out to get players, think about this. We signed Jordan Phillips, or traded for Jordan Phillips. Not like he was a stud or something, but pretty much the Giants are kind of like, we don't need him. And they were a terrible team. Okay? The 7th round pick after training camp. Now we got Carl Lawson who got us 4 sacks. He actually played pretty good. But for the most part, you look at the players we bring in. USFL guys. Now we've gotten 2 good ones, and Turpin and Brandon Aubrey, but that's the exception, not the rule. I think we brought in more USFL guys than anybody else. We bring in guys who literally were guys that just didn't pan out the way they thought they would, or guys who were injured without a lot of experience. That some of these guys hadn't been on a roster for a year or so. To plug and play valuable minutes. That's not a bad thing to do if you're looking at it and saying, we're going to bring these guys in, kick the tires on them, and see if we can find a few players that might be able to help our team. You can't build a roster that way, but that's what they do. Honestly, we had Hole at left tackle, that we drafted Tyler Guyton, who was a right tackle, did not get up to speed on the NFL speed, and stayed injured, and was a penalty magnet. Cooper Beebe actually was the best draft pick, I'm going to say, we had this past year. He had the second least amount of pressures given up. That was a good move. I'll take him over Biotis. You got another hole because Brandon Cooks got older and stayed injured most of the season. And your third wide receiver, which should have been Jalen Tolbert, wasn't much better than what you had for Michael Gallup. Jalen Brooks and those guys, man. And you traded for Jonathan Mingo with the 4th. You traded for Trey Lance, who's a free agent now, and you paid $5 million to. And you turn around and said, we don't need Derrick Henry. People, the Joneses and their mom and pop shop are the problem. You're not going to allow a coach to coach the way he should be able to coach and have the vision that he wants to have. And they're not going to give you the players that you need. I am so disgusted right now. And knowing that tomorrow I got to watch the Eagles sucks, man. It sucks big time. You now have 2 really good teams ahead of us that we're looking up to right now. And if the Cowboys don't make some wholesale changes, next year's going to be terrible. Keep in mind right now, people, we don't have a single coach. We don't have a single coach. Yeah, we're in hell right now. Alrighty, good people. Tell the people you love how much you love them, because
Love you.
Love you too, baby. You're all I got. Cowboys, they just keep letting me down. If Cowboys end up hiring Kellen Moore, I might just be through. Tell the people you love how much you love them, people. You might not get the chance again. Love y'all.